Hello, I'm not Meghan Cooney, as she is still enjoying her time far, far, far away from LaSalle TV. It's almost like she's moved on from us. But speaking about moving on, let's move on to things that make us all happy. Another episode of SportsLine. Hello, I'm Riley Kavchock.
And I'm Charlie Hug. Megan, John, Riley, Siobhan, Tanya, whoever we have back here, you can be sure that we will bring you all the up-to-date news from McCarthy Field and beyond. And that's what makes us the best sports show in the A10. So I've heard. You're watching LaSalle TV's home for Explore Athletics, SportsLine.
Welcome to another episode of SportsLine. We have recaps and upcoming games for all of your fall sports coming your way.
And later, I sit down with Tatum Johnson and Emily Strieb from the field hockey team to talk about their current season and more.
But first, let's take a look at our SportsLine top 3.
Number 1, the LaSalle Student Athlete Advisory Committee is building support for a breast cancer awareness fundraiser this weekend for a fellow student athlete. Kirsten Nice, mother of men's soccer goalie Tino Nice, was diagnosed with breast cancer this August and is making great progress. In support, Tino and his family will be holding a Pickleball for the Cure event at Greystone Elementary School in Westchester from noon to 3 o'clock on Sunday.
Number 2, LaSalle had their first undefeated week of the year last week. The noteworthy feat came after big wins by both men's and women's soccer and field hockey. We'll have more on that to come.
And number 3, Sophia Waslu was named this week's NovaCare Student Athlete of the Week. The junior forward scored her first career hat trick in the Explorers' win over Queens. Well, Riley, welcome to the show. We got a new host for a second week in a row.
What a great week to be on the show. So much victories.
To talk about. Yes, we're excited to have you. So the first thing I did want to note is last week we did have an undefeated week, and it actually continued into this week until men's hockey yesterday. So, I mean, a whole undefeated week and about over a week and a half, which is a really cool thing to see for all teams, not even just one specific one.
Yeah, that's really something we should take more pride of. Not every university can say they have a great winning week, but we have, and hopefully there'll be more to come.
Absolutely. And then, I mean, Sophia Waslu scoring a hat trick, that's nothing, I can't skip over that. That's a big name. You don't see that often, especially in a 7-0 win that you're going to end up touching on later. Just a huge week all around, individually and team-wise, and it's really cool to see.
That's it for the top 3. Now let's see how our teams did in this week's recaps. Field hockey went up against Davidson this past Friday, starting off with both teams staying consistent offensively in the start of the game. Tatum Johnson scored first for the Explorers, gaining her 3rd goal of the season. The first quarter ended in a tie, but that didn't stop LaSalle from coming in strong in the second. Claire Laripa and Paige Doyle both scored, leading the Explorers into a 3-2 lead in the half. Claire Laripa scored yet again in the third, making her the team's lead scorer so far. Davidson scored yet again in the fourth, making it a 1-point game. LaSalle's defense held off the Wildcats for the rest of the game, ending in a 4-3 win for the Explorers. On Sunday, field hockey matched up against Queens in an exciting match for the Explorers. The first half was dominated by LaSalle's offense, although as 3 shots were attempted, none made it in. The second half started with a goal from Sophia Wassel, her first of the match. Kat McFadden was also able to get one in, putting the Explorers up 2-0. Claire Laripa scored the third goal of the match to the end of the half. The third quarter was similar to the first, with LaSalle strong on offense, but no shots were made. Sophia Wassel scored yet again to open up the final quarter. The 5th goal was put in by Paige Doyle, her 2nd of the season. Quinn Medico also scored against the Royals, making it her 1st of the season. This gained the Explorers a 6-0 lead over the Royals. Sophia Wassel finished up the game with one last goal, making her first career hat trick. The Explorers ended the game with a huge victory of 7-0.
The men's soccer team opened their week with a matchup against George Mason on Saturday. It was a quick start for the Patriots as they were able to score off a miscue by the Explorers in just the 3rd minute of the game. 13 minutes later, an offensive possession would draw a corner kick for LaSalle. Senior Drew Blackwell sent the ball into the box where Evan Watts' header would bounce off the post right into the foot of junior Sean Yergel, who would put it into the back of the net. An even battle for the rest of the half brought the game into halftime tied 1-1. George Mason came out of the half with multiple offensive opportunities, but were unable to capitalize. However, the Explorers were able to find their footing with momentum of deja vu. Another corner kick by Blackwell was sent towards the box, which would this time find the head of Americo Pereira. Once again, the header would find the leg of Sean Yergel, who would score his second goal of the game, which would prove to be the deciding goal in the contest. The teams would finish the game back and forth, and the Explorers would end with their first conference win with a score of 2-1. Goalie Philip Sabati had another great game, finishing with 2 saves and his 4th win of the year. Coming off this big win, the Explorers took on Loyola Chicago in an afternoon game back at McCarthy Stadium on Wednesday. It was another quick deficit for the Explorers as they found themselves in a 1-0 hole in the first 8 minutes of the match. The Ramblers would keep control of the match the rest of the first half, with neither team being able to score before the halftime. It wouldn't take long for the Ramblers to score again, though, as they would put another point on the board in the 3rd minute of the second half. Loyola Chicago would score once more in the 74th minute before the Explorers would even put a shot on goal. That opportunity would finally come in the closing minutes of the game, but the attempt by Kyrese Lynch-Bailey would be blocked out of bounds, and the game would end in a 3-0 loss for LaSalle, bringing their record to 4-4-3 on the season.
Last Thursday, women's soccer took on BCU. After a scoreless first half, which featured only 3 shots by both teams, the Explorers started to pick up the pace in the second half. They received 2 quick shots from Sunny Elmo, which were both unfortunately blocked by the Rams. In the 69th minute, Justice Hollenbach scored a goal, making the final score 1-0, earning the Explorers their 3rd straight victory in the Atlantic 10 Conference with a record of 3-1. Continuing on to LaSalle's women's soccer winning streak, the Explorers played rival school St. Joseph's University this past Sunday. After a scoreless first half, the Explorers got on the scoreboard within the 48th minute after scoring on St. Joe's own goal during a corner kick. The Explorers extend their lead in the 72nd minute after Rashia Walker hit a far left corner shot from a pass by Caitlin Donovan. From there, the Explorers kept the Hawks at bay, limiting them to only 1 shot in the final 18 minutes to preserve the shutout. In addition, the Explorers only allowed 2 shots within the entire second half, ending the game in LaSalle victory 2-0. This now makes the Explorers 4-1 in an A10 play for the first time since 2017.
The men's golf team traveled to Hiawatha Landing this past weekend. As a team, the Explorers tied for 7th overall with a total score of 12 over par 588. Sophomore Kevin Linden shined for the Explorers, shooting even par 72 in the opening round and 2 under 70 to tie for 10th place. Nikita Romanov had the 2nd best Explorer finish, tying for 30th place with a 30 over 147. Benjamin Batty and Gavin Dosh rounded out the lineup, tying for 52nd with a 6 over 150.
The men's and women's cross-country team traveled to Lehigh University for the Paul Short Run. The women's team placed 8th with 358 points in the Women's College Brown 6K race. Christine Mancini led the Explorers, placing 2nd with a time of 21 minutes and 13 seconds. Jerica Lafrano followed, finishing 44th with a time of 22 minutes and 45 seconds. On the men's side, Nick Millay, McCallum Rowe, and Toanga Mabambo placed in the top 5 in the men's Open 8K. Millay finished 3rd with a time of 24 minutes and 23 seconds. Rowe finished 4th with a time of 24 minutes and 26 seconds. And Mabambo placed 5th with a time of 24 minutes and 31 seconds. David Butts also placed in the top 10, placing 10th with a time of 24 minutes and 46 seconds. To round out the lineup, Andres Hernandez placed 12th with a time of 24 minutes and 53 seconds.
It's a lot of sports to talk about. Got you a little choked up. But, you know, it's great to see a lot of winning and a lot of great performances all around. A lot of great team performances, a lot of great individual performances. I mean, Sean Yergel scoring his first 2 goals of the season, and they ended up being 2 game-winning goals. I mean, the 7-0 win for field hockey with a hat trick. Not only are these teams getting wins, but they're having a lot of great individual performances, which just has to boost the confidence.
Exactly. Nothing negative to say. And there's a lot of new names we're seeing here who are making new improvements. That's whether they're coming in as a freshman or ending as a senior. They're still getting their name out there and doing great things, which is what we need. We want new names. We want to see the improvement keep going.
One thing that I did want to note is someone that we've mentioned on a past couple of episodes. She won Explorers Athlete of the Week a couple weeks ago. Sunny Diamo did happen to go down with an injury for the women's soccer team. That's a tough blow. But I mean, as you see, they keep winning and they're able to overcome it. And I have high hopes for them finishing off their season.
I've actually been to one of the women's soccer games, and they have great sportsmanship. They're positive on and off the field, I've noticed. And if they keep that mentality, an amazing season's bound to happen to end it out.
Yeah, and watching sophomore Kevin Linden on the golf team, coming in 10th in theirs, I mean, that's awesome to see too, especially for such a young guy.
We're going to take a quick break, but before we do, Charlie's back with another installment of SportsLine's favorite segment.
Coming off the heels of our interview with the powerlifting club last week, I wanted to see what it was like to experience their world firsthand. So follow along as I go to the gym for this week's episode of Charlie Cam.
Usually you see people go in.
Let me try this out. So like this.
Yeah, so make sure the barbell a little bit closer to your chin. So, and then, like, use your thumbs, like right here, to measure.
On the...
Yeah, right here. Mm-hmm. And then when your thumbs are measured, you're gonna grip it like this.
Okay.
Yep. And then you have in the charcoal all at once. Just like that. What you can do is that when you pull it up, like try like pull your chest out.
Pull my chest out?
Yeah. Just like if you feel it, so it feels like you like locked out the floor.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, just like that.
All right. Not bad.
Welcome back. Let's see what Tatum and Emily had to say as they sat down with our very own Charlie Hub.
Weekly Explorers Athletics interview is Tatum Johnson and Emily Strieb from the women's field hockey team. So the first question I ask all athletes is, what made you guys choose LaSalle? Tatum, if you want to answer this one first.
For me, definitely the biggest thing was field hockey. But aside from that, I think I liked the smaller aspect, like it was a smaller school. closer together, and also it was close to my family. The team, it was kind of like a family environment, which really pulled me in.
I really like the coaches. I feel like we had an immediate connection. I also like the small school aspect, and I really wanted to be a comm major. So yeah, I was looking for a good communications program.
Great. So clearly, you guys seniors now, so you have a lot of experience on the team, especially compared to your other teammates. So how would you describe your experience on the team so far with these 4 years for you, and you transferred in, right? Yeah. So far, how would you just describe the experience of being on this team, being involved in the culture, and even just the campus environment too, if you want to touch on that?
Overall, it's been a good experience, but it's been kind of a roller coaster for me. Just we've had different coaches, different players coming in and out. Kind of started off in COVID, so it was hard, but we've been on an upward spiral. It's been a good thing. We've progressed a lot, and it's just been a good experience.
Definitely.
Yeah, I really like the team. I mean, I'm not from here, so it makes me feel like having a home away from home. I feel like everybody's very welcoming, and we're a very strong community. Despite all the coaches' changes and all the obstacles we've faced, I feel like we always still stuck together.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, Emily, you weren't here, but all of our seniors, I do like to ask this question just because it's the last time we get to ask this question. So how did COVID affect your guys' freshman season?
It was, well, we weren't playing in the fall, we were playing in the spring, and in the fall we were all at home online, so it was kind of hard as a freshman not being able to meet the team. And then when we were coming in the spring, it was all our classes were online, and we were kind of secluded to our own rooms, so it was hard to get close with the girls, but I think we did well and we overcame that. It was a shortened season, so 11 games, and at first we weren't even allowed to practice as a full team. So it was little groups, and I feel like I got really close with my little group, but it was hard because then when we had to play as a team, we didn't really know each other as well. But we overcame that, and then my sophomore year we got a new coach, so we kind of went upwards with that, which is a good thing.
Awesome. And so, Emily, if you just want to even touch a little bit on your personal background, but what was it like kind of transitioning into, like you just mentioned, living on your own, having that home away from home? What was that transition into, I guess, a new lifestyle like for you?
I mean, it was hard, but not knowing anyone and not knowing what to expect, but I always wanted to come to the States and just get away from home, have a little adventure, and I feel like having a team helps a lot because you immediately have your friends, and yeah, it's a lot easier to make connections.
Definitely, definitely. And so you guys even touched on this earlier, you've seen a lot of players come in, a lot of players come out. How do you think, have you seen a change in culture since you guys have been here? How has the team itself changed, let alone the different players coming in and out, but have you seen a change overall in the team?
Yeah, so my freshman year, I would say it was secluded and to your own class, but we've kind of came together my sophomore year as a team and kind of figured out what our team values were and to change the culture to make it closer together. And I think the new people coming in, since we had it already set, it was easier for them to get included and feel more welcomed on the team, which really helped setting those values and setting a culture and figuring out what we wanted that culture to be, which is what we didn't have my freshman year.
Right.
So.
Yeah, our coach, Martu, she's really big on establishing a good culture, a driven culture with a lot of team goals, and I feel like that's definitely changed a lot. I mean, I know you guys had a difficult season before she came, and
Yeah.
I feel like since she's been there, we made a lot of upward progress. Yeah.
Awesome. And so clearly we recap all the games on this show every week, and you guys have been having a fantastic season, at least from our point of view as fans or whatever. But the big thing I did want to talk about is your guys' game against Rutgers, the top 10 team that you guys faced this year. So how was that preparation process different from especially A10 teams where you guys kind of play them every year, you know what they're going to be like, but this Rutgers team, you guys, it's a tough team and you guys really held your own. So what was it like preparing for that and then even the game itself?
Yeah, so we weren't trying to sugarcoat that they were a good team. Obviously, we knew they were a really good team, so we were just sticking to the basics, not trying to do anything crazy. And we knew it was going to be a defensive game, so we put defense first, and we really defended well. And I think that allowed us to attack well in the game. Just sticking to the basics and playing our game is what we did, and we didn't let them being that good of a team get to our heads. We were ready for the challenge.
I like playing against those teams because there's no expectations or pressure. Like, everybody expects you to lose. So, like, you can only prove them wrong and, like, do better. And then also in advance, we do a lot of scouting, watch film, and, yeah, do drills. They're, like, adjusted to their playing style.
Awesome. So just another generalized question for the both of you. Just favorite memories so far of being on the team, either an in-season memory or some memory with your teammates. What has been your favorite experience that you guys have had, either shared or individually, just of being on the lacrosse field hockey team?
I think one that comes to mind is Davidson, my sophomore year. We played away at Davidson, and it was we traveled to them. So we won. I think the score was 4-2, and it was really, it meant a lot to me because the previous season we were 0-11, and we hadn't won any games on the road yet. And I don't know, it just meant something because it was just a really big win, a conference win. So I don't know, that's one that I can think of.
My favorite was the Villanova game this season. We actually haven't beaten them since 2018, and it was very close because our sophomore year we lost like 7-something against them. So yeah, it was awesome beating them for the first time for us.
Yeah, they're also like a huge rival for us, so that was really cool.
That was another one we were real excited to see here in the booth and talk about that one afterwards. We always like to see our teams beat Villanova, and especially with your guys' history together. So you guys are in conference play now. You guys have been doing real well. What are your expectations for the rest of the year, and how do you think you guys have been doing so far against your A10 opponents?
So our biggest goal is definitely making it to the tournament. That's something we've been, ever since I've been here, trying to do. So that's our goal, and I think it's been going really well. We just have to keep pushing, keep working at the basics to do that.
Yeah, especially we have to beat Richmond tomorrow and then St. Louis next week, which are our biggest rivals in like the fight for the spots. And I think we've always gotten so close to making A10s. Well, last year I think we came in 5th, and we had to be 4th. So yeah, I think this year we have a really, really good chance of making the tournament.
Awesome. So as seniors, you guys are getting ready to finish your last season up. Is there any advice that you guys would want to give to your younger teammates or any incoming field hockey players before you guys finish your last season?
I feel like be confident, be open-minded, go out there, make friends, make connections with your teammates, but also make sure to like have other friends get involved other than that, because sometimes it can be a lot because you'll spend time with only your teammates, which is good, but you also kind of like want a little escape time away.
Yeah, just give it your all. No regrets. We always talk about that. Just play with no regrets. You don't want to look back and be like, oh, I wish this, I wish that. So.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for your time today, sitting down with us, answering some questions. We wish you the best with the rest of your season, and good luck with everything else.
Thank you for having us.
Of course. So we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll have all of the upcoming games for you guys to watch this week.
I just missed the shuttle.
You never hit record!
I never hit record.
I just got an F on my exam.
Is that you? Do you sit around bored all day? Do you want to watch television shows where you can look at the people and be like, I can be that. That's me. Well, you should check out LaSalle TV. That rhymes. We got entertainment news at Backstage Pass. We got regular news at LTV News. We got sports news at Sports Talk and SportsLine. And for those of you who really want some fun stuff, Q&A. Because down at LaSalle TV, we got a full buffet.
Thanks, LaSalle TV.
Thanks, LaSalle TV.
Thanks, LaSalle TV. I still miss my shuttle.
According to statistics, 40 million adults suffer from depression or anxiety. 1 in 4 college students are affected by this as well. You never know who is going through something, so you should always be kind to one another. practice can go a long way. It might even save a life.
Welcome back. We've got another week of LaSalle sports coming up. So here's what you have to look forward to. Men's soccer will travel to St. Louis Saturday, October 7th at 8 p.m. A couple days later, they will travel to Lafayette College for their second game of the week on Tuesday, October 10th. Women's soccer will be at home for their matchup against George Mason on Saturday, October 7th at 1 p.m. They will also be at home to play Fordham on Thursday, October 12th at 7 p.m.
Field hockey will be at home tomorrow, Friday, October 6th, to play Richmond Spiders at 3 p.m. They will also be at home again Sunday, October 8th, to match up against the Dartmouth at noon. Men's golf will be attending the Friar Jones Shocker Invitational on Monday and Tuesday, October 9th and 10th next week. All right, so we got a lot more coming up, which means I guess we'll have another show.
I guess so.
Yeah.
And Meghan will be back.
Yes, Meghan will be back. She's actually arriving tomorrow. But unfortunately for us Explorer fans, not too many home games coming up. But, you know, that's all right, as long as they get their wins.
St. Louis is 4.
St. Louis?
That's 4.
Yeah. Yeah, they're going to keep trucking along with these A-10 matchups, and then they're all getting ready for those A-10 playoffs so they can make it. So we'll keep our fingers crossed.
Hoping.
I'll tell you what, we got something else coming up though too. We got a lot more Charlie Cam coming up. You know, we already have some Explorettes planned coming up. A little more football, a little bit of yoga, a little bit of Zumba. So anything else you viewers at home would like to see, leave your comments in underneath the video.
That just about wraps it up for this week. If you can't make it out to see the Explorers play, be sure to tune in next week for our coverage. Keep up with this weekend's other sporting events by visiting goexplorers.com.
Also, check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/LaSalleTV and on Instagram at SportsLineLTV. We welcome you to send us your thoughts and suggestions there.
For our entire SportsLine team, I'm Riley Kavchock.
And I'm Charlie Hugg. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you at the game.